your tyre related needs and a fantastic service, call or drop into Phillips Tyres in Oxford.
Good evening. As much as I try and keep a positive tone for the news each week, the passing of Prince Philip is a tragedy for the nation and a great loss for us as we lose one of the loudest spokesmen for our sport. In response to calls to regulate shotgun ownership in the wake of the Dunblane massacre, Prince Philip, after offering his support and sympathies to the bereaved, continued, and I quote, "I'm not altogether convinced that it is the best system to somehow shift the blame onto a large and peaceable part of the community." He went on to say, and I paraphrase, that if somebody gets a cricket bat and batters a load of children to death with a cricket bat, which they could do very easily, what are you going to do? Ban cricket bats? Solid in his support for us, he was the first royal patron of the Wildfowlers Association of Great Britain and Ireland, which, as we all know, went on to become BASC. I'm sure many of you viewers have got Duke of Edinburgh anecdotes and stories and even fables. Please feel free to share these in the comments below. Lord Geoffrey Dear, President of BASC, tells us, "Prince Philip keenly understood the importance of a strong relationship between conservation and shooting. He goes on to say shooting will be forever in his debt for the guidance he provided during a period of unprecedented change in shooting and the countryside." Lord Geoffrey Dear went on to reveal that Prince Philip continued to advise BASC until his death. Many of you will have copies of the Handbook of Shooting, the sporting shotgun, to which Prince Philip wrote the personal introduction. The book has been in print continuously for the last 30 years. And I'd like to share with you this evening a video of Prince Philip attending the new communication headquarters, as they were then in 2010, over at Marford Mill, BASC HQ. Quite an exciting intro. They're certainly making the most of their communication skills there. Take a look at this.
Your Royal Highness, may I formally extend a very warm welcome to BASC. To my Lord President, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and indeed our wide audience, may I extend the same warm welcome. I hope that the work of the elected Council of BASC will ensure that shooting can be enjoyed by our sons and grandsons in the generations to come. This building, which bears your name, means that we have the tools to do the job. Thank you.
Sir, I understand that you're quite keen on new technology, such as computers, social networking through Facebook and Twitter, and video. But whether it's the Common Select Committee, the story of the Emperor's Stag, or the impact of an obscure European directive, we now have in this building the means to do the job. From this year, we developed the first video production unit of any field sports organisation.
I've always had a great admiration for what this organisation's been doing ever since it started out as the Wildfowlers Association. Let me congratulate everybody who's had a hand in producing this new building. Those who've paid for it and those who've designed it and those who fitted it out. And I hope that those of you who are now occupying it, your work level and your achievement level will rise in proportion.
We are delighted here to have His Royal Highness with us today. He listens to enough speeches, so I'm not going to make one myself. But may I, sir, simply invite you to unveil the commemorative plaque.
And it's not only BASC. Prince Philip supported the GWCT for well over 50 years, inviting members and supporters to the Queen's Gallery in Buckingham Palace for countless annual gatherings. He spoke of the grey partridge as far back as 1972, saying this bird is more than our favourite native game species. It represents a typical wild bird that suffers from all the pressures of intensive agriculture, urbanisation, pollution, overpopulation, and a host of other ugly sounding words and phrases. If we can solve the problem for partridges, we shall be conferring enormous benefits onto many other like species, which are also in trouble. During the course of his lifetime, Prince Philip oversaw the planting of 2 million trees, of 45 new woodlands, of 150 hectares of wild bird cover, and 200 hectares of wild and cultivated land. Speaking of his time at Sandringham, he described shooting as effectively cropping, and what you do is take the surplus and make sure you have the crop next year. One can only hope that Prince William follows in his footsteps and becomes an unapologetic supporter. I don't hold out much hope for Prince Harry, but it's nice to see Prince Andrew, and I hope that he fills the gap and continues to support his mother through this difficult time. Now, I did find some very good clips of Prince Philip, including one with Tommy Cooper. I was going to show them, but I'm going to put a link in the description because that's much cheaper than the £341 it would have cost me for the licence. There's a couple more in there as well for you to look at. And finally, let's not forget the Duke of Edinburgh Awards. What an achievement that is, running for 60 years with over 1 million participants across 130 countries. What an accolade. What a legacy to leave. On Saturday, the Oxford Gun Company is doing a 99-shot salute to Prince Philip on the driveway in solidarity with the royal family. If you would like to be involved, please contact David or Nikki at the shop on 01844 238 308. It will be shown on the channel and it'd be great to see you there. This country can only hope that the brothers will be reunited once more, and it's just a shame that it's, again, grief that will be the driving force in this. Meanwhile, the rest of us will continue to pay our respects to the Queen's loyal husband, our military hero, spokesman for our community, Prince Philip.
Please share to your friends and have a look at what other films we've done. And it's all there to try and encourage you to get into shooting this great sport.